Welcome to the Startup Support Surgery podcast, where we light the entrepreneurial spark in medics and healthcare professionals. Join me, Dr. Jo Watkins, GP, business coach and co-founder of The How People, on a journey to discover where your medical know-how meets the business world. This will help you find some clarity on how to balance work, passions and family so that you can gain more freedom and control over your life, but also continue to help people, which is actually why most of us went into medicine to start with. Embarking on this entrepreneurial adventure is not easy. It is a roller coaster of emotions, but it's hugely rewarding and exciting in the process. Drawing on my 20 years of blending medicine and business as a GP, I am here to share experiences, insights and lessons. Expect lively chats, expert interviews and real-life stories from medics who have taken their own path. Let's break free from traditional healthcare norms and explore more innovative ways of making a real difference to people's health and well-being, along with paving the way for a brighter future for us as healthcare professionals. Oh, don't miss my free PDF called From Stethoscope to Startup, which is an 11-page guide in the show notes full of practical help and advice. This is your roadmap to kickstarting your journey with us. Enjoy the show. Today on the Startup Support Surgery, I would like to welcome one of my first ever business coaches, Rachel Harington. Rachel is the founder of wellandcalmstudios. She is a coach and mentor for heart-centered, badass women in the wellness space who want to get their services out there and start selling online. Rachel and I go back a long way. I connected with Rachel back in January 2018 when we both went to a networking event down in London. It was the first one I had ever been to in a place called Allbrights in London. She was at the time offering an online training program to get people doing their first 10K run. And I had seen her website and was really interested in her software and what she was doing and how she was growing her online business. So we reached out afterwards, we connected with each other, we sent a few WhatsApp and we stayed in touch. And a year later, in August 2019, I reached out to her because I was more interested in how we were going to run the back end of the business, the How People. I was weighing up our options and looking at all the software that was available. So I dropped her an email and she came straight back to me and said, let's jump on a call. You know, at the time, we were operating a very small in-person local business and we didn't have an online element, but it was definitely on the to-do list. So Rachel explained everything to me, showed me everything that was in the back end of all of the stuff that she was doing. And a few months later, when we were ready, in December 2019, we invested in our first business coach, which was 3 months of coaching with Rachel to get us started and up and running and explain to us the software, Kajabi, that we continue to use today for the How People and that I use for the digital doctor programs as well. She helped me build our first online course and she navigated us through a really difficult time with COVID where we suddenly decided we were going to come up with a membership idea and she supported us through that. She's been absolutely amazing and has taught me everything I know about Kajabi, about online business, about email marketing. And she's been there ever since, cheering us on, cheering me on, helping with these pivots and bumps in the road. And we've had several times in the last few years where we have been coached by her on an intense basis, but she's just always been there in the background as a cheerleader. Rachel is a regular expert on the masterclasses within my Startup Support Surgery program. And from October, she will be doing a monthly slot with a new digital doctor membership for those that have already got started, are out there selling their products and helping people, but they're wanting to grow, scale and reach more ideal clients. More about that as we continue with this podcast, and I will link anything in the show notes. So Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a real pleasure to do this first expert session with you, seeing as you've been in my life from the beginning, as I've just explained. What I'd love you to talk about to start with is just to talk to us about this whole online business thing. So many doctors that I work with say, well, I don't really want to be online. I don't really want to have an online business. I want to have an in-person business. So tell me, what is this online business world? What do you do in it? What do you think about it? Tell us everything you know.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Hi, Joe. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm Rachel Harington. I founded Well and Calm Studios back in 2019, and Joe's been there from the very beginning. So it's very nice to see everything come full circle. And I'm so happy to speak to your audience about the very beginnings and what it feels like. And maybe if you don't really know the ins and outs of an online business and you just kind of want to explore. So let's go through a bit of an exploration. So if you're talking to people, medics, doctors, anyone who's trying to set up their own type of practice, and they don't necessarily see the merit in having an online business, I'd like to kind of take us a bit above all of that and kind of do a bird's eye view. So say we're 30,000 feet in the air and we're looking down and we're looking at the business that you're building. And what you really are looking for is people that you get to serve, people that you get to help, people that you get to heal with your trainings that you've been going through your whole life, right? So you've been put here for this special purpose and you're like, oh my gosh, I now have the ability to help in this certain way. I'm an expert in this and this. And I really want to show up and be an authority and find people and help people. And the key here is finding the people. So when we have this online presence, we're able to call in and attract these kind of soul aligned clients that resonate with the way that we want to help them or the transformations that we can personally give to them through our years of expertise. So when we have these businesses, it's so much easier to have an online presence and an offline presence. So with my business, Well and Calm Studios, I was thinking, I just want to do online stuff. I want to reach people. I want to travel anywhere I want. And in that, I was able to figure out that I also wanted offline clients. So some of my clients I'm able to meet and we go out to like a fancy hotel and we have like a VIP day, and it doesn't have to be siloed. Like I don't have to have an online business that's only online. I can see clients, and if it feels good for us to meet in person, then we can also meet in person. So I just see the merit in growing your presence because we do have this online atmosphere these days of social media and the internet and just reaching people on the World Wide Web. So if somebody sees me and they've never heard of me before, most likely they're going to go to a search engine and they're going to type in my name, and what comes up for them, I want to be what I can help them with, what I can transform them with, what I've been studying and being an expert in, so that they feel confident in working with me so that they can receive those results.
So you mentioned alignment there, and that piece where somebody actually sees you, hears about you, finds out a little bit, wants to find out a little bit more about you. And then, how important is it then that they are able to absolutely see from what you offer that you are the answer to their problem? How, because so many people I work with, a lot of their advice could be quite uniform and quite generic, and it could help all sorts of people. And this is something I have to kind of pull people back from a lot. So talk to us a little bit about that. How important is that?
So your messaging is super important when someone finds you. So if somebody sees me and they see like, oh, I love helping people who want to help people, but then they're not someone who's into that. Maybe there's someone who wants to get rich quick, or maybe there's someone who wants to sell real estate. They'll be like, oh, well, Rachel's not for me, obviously. So it really is a way for people to self-select and figure out, okay, this person is for me. I want to pay attention to them. I want to keep going more into their world, diving into what they're talking about. And it also helps on the topic of niching. Some people say niche. Niches get you the riches, but I prefer niche. But when talking about the niche conversation, I think that some people get really held back when they think of it as only this one very, 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 very specific thing. But I feel like your niche can also evolve and kind of grow with you. And the most important thing is to start and to just keep putting your message out there, keep putting yourself out there, keep producing content for the people that you want to serve. And then your niche can kind of follow and trail with you.
That's a great piece of advice, because this evolution concept, I think, is again something for us as medics and healthcare professionals. We have followed a very specific path through our educational, from school to university to our training. Everything's been very laid out for us. There hasn't been many decisions to make other than the direction you're going to go in the speciality. And then suddenly you're in this world where actually nobody's going to tell you the next step. You have to kind of work that out for yourself. So talk to us a little bit about that and how it feels to go out there when you're not sure, and those sort of actions that you need to take. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. Okay. So just like being a student, you found your discipline, you have studied, you've taken the test, you've gotten certified. Now you almost have to hold that space for yourself in your own business. So you need to set your own deadlines for your launches and your marketing and your campaigns to get people in your door or onto your programs. So having the kind of student mindset where everything is really laid out for you, you hit this milestone, then you hit the next milestone, then you hit the next milestone, then you've kind of accomplished something. You get to do that now for yourself in your business as an entrepreneur. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And this was really hard for me in the beginning, because when I first became an entrepreneur and had the entire day to myself, I sometimes wouldn't even know when to brush my teeth. I was like, okay, well, I can do it then, but then I have all day, but then obviously I need to do it when I wake up, but like maybe I should do this first. So fundamentally, I kind of broke down the entire thing and I had zero schedule, and that kind of blew my mind a bit. And so working backwards from that, it's kind of like, what is your end goal? Okay, my end goal is to help as many people as I possibly can. Okay, so first we got to start helping yourself. You need to, 1, have that self-care. 2, you need to have your own milestones of, okay, if I have a program for people, how many people do I want in that program? How much money do I want to make from that program? What transformation do I want to have for that program? And then you can set those milestones up for yourself to hit. And then so you still kind of get those rewards of being a student and like hitting different accomplishments, but you now have the ability and kind of the wherewithal to think outside of the box of that very regimented lifestyle of, waking up, going to school, getting good grades, that type of thing.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about email marketing. So it's something I sort of bang on about, particularly at the beginning when I get people asking me about social media. So I tend to get, medics who have maybe done a diploma in lifestyle medicine, they've trained to be a coach, they've come to the end of their program, they're wanting to set up as a personal brand or a business. And they tend to say to me, I need a website, a logo, and I've got to get on social media. I hate social media. I don't want to do it. I don't know where to start. And I see people sort of posting randomly. And I'm always there in the background sort of saying, that's fine, but you've really got to know who you're posting to and how you're posting and what you're doing. And what you need to be doing is growing your email list. And people look at me like I'm a bit mad at this point. But this is something you drilled into me from the beginning. So talk to me about email marketing and email lists.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. So email marketing and the email list is where the money is, because if you are just on social media and if you are just trying to get the followers, trying to get the views, that's vanity metrics. So they boost your ego, but they don't put more money in your bank account. Why? Because you are not following up with them privately. So with email marketing, you have somebody's address. So it's not like a physical address. We don't have the yellow pages like we used to back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Now it's email addresses. So when you get someone's name and when you get their email address, they've self-selected to say, you can talk to me, please send me more things. So it is in your best interest and their best interest to keep in contact. So with email marketing, you can start really easily with like a Gmail account and just BCC, carbon copy, everyone into it. And then put your subject line, you can put like your own responder in the CC and keep in contact. You don't have to make it complicated. There's obviously more softwares. I use Kajabi. There's things like MailChimp, but you don't have to, from the beginning, pay for anything at all. You can just start collecting email addresses and even doing this in person. I used to go to conferences with other people who were like-minded, and I thought maybe I could help some of these people. And I would just chat to them. And at the end of the conversation, I'd be like, hey, can I get your email? Do you mind if I send you some email updates? And then I would collect these different emails and keep in contact with them. So email marketing is probably the bread and butter of your online business. And it actually is what brings in the sales, the conversions, the revenue. You know, it's what people fall back on when maybe their social media isn't bringing in people, or they haven't been able to bring in people in person. Email marketing is one of the things that's kind of like a crucial touchstone in any business, online or off, these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've spoken to so many bricks and mortar businesses, private clinics, people who have set up and they've seen, you know, maybe they've been running for 2 or 3 years, so that every single person that they've seen, they have an email address for, but they don't have any way, and they are not contacting those people regularly. So I spoke to somebody recently, a menopause specialist who's been operating for ages. Her sales have gone down. She's not got anybody booked in over the next couple of months, and she's concerned about that. And I said, you know, have you sent some information to the people on your email list to say that you've got empty slots? And she doesn't send regular information to anybody that she's ever seen. So if somebody has given you their email address, I know there are GDPR implications, but if you have communicated about a clinic slot, you've had a consultation with that person has asked you for their help, you are able to send them information, aren't you, to, of slots that you might have available. And they should be your first port of call rather than worrying about going online and dancing on TikTok and hoping that somebody sees you. Go tell the person who already knows you. They might need to see you again.
Totally. That's such a good point. They've given this person already has this wealth of potential clients, but they aren't kind of keeping them warm, giving them value, keeping them interested, and then making an offer, right? So with email marketing, the emails that I get, I love the ones that add value, like this, and this is working in my business. And then I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then there's no pitch. There's nothing to do at the end. It's like, okay, cool. I'll send you another email soon, or follow me on Instagram for more entertaining content around this topic. But then the next email, I do have a way to work with them. And it's just offering people a way to work with you. And it's not asking for a sale. It's saying like, hey, I have this amazing, in the menopause case, she could have a program, and then she might have these women who are just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need at this exact moment. I'm so glad you gave me this offer. And you just never know unless you're asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. What about the pitfalls? Everything's got two sides to it, right? What about the pitfalls and the problems of running your own business?
Okay, yeah, I can talk to this all day long. Okay, so the pitfalls and the problems of running your own business. So for me, it's always a time versus money, like value ratio. Am I spending too much time on something that I could be able to just put money into? So this could be software, this could be advertising, this could be like I'm thinking right now about like my meta ads and like knowing how to put a certain amount of money into my marketing campaigns. So I think for me, the main pitfalls are kind of spinning my own wheels, learning things that I should just be paying other people to do anyway, because that's not my area of expertise. and using that as an excuse to stay where I am instead of grow or reach more people or actually do the marketing and actually do the emails where I could be making my offers. So when I feel like I'm in a problem state, or I feel like something is kind of like a pattern that keeps coming up, I have a pattern, and for an example, I have a pattern that I give away my authority to my coaches, or I give away my authority to my mentors. And what that looks like for me is I will say I want to have a launch of like a program, and then I will find all these different people and all these different ways to do it. And my excuse is I'm doing my research, and my excuse is, well, they've done something before, so I need to listen to them so that I can do it too. But if I really come back to myself, and if I really tune in and like align with my own soul, I'm like, okay, I actually do have all the answers. Actually, this is really easy. All I need to do is say how I'm going to help people and actually talk to the people. So for me, my problems always arise when I give away my sense of authority, or I give away my sense of control or decision making to somebody that I feel might have the answers for me, rather than just tuning in and actually taking action from a place of internal alignment.
So is that a bit of imposter syndrome? Is that feeling that you are going to somebody that has done it before rather than you having the answers yourself? Would that be the same sort of thing as that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think imposter syndrome for me happens when it's like, oh, can I charge that amount? Or am I capable of actually creating that transformation that I say I am in my marketing? And I feel the feeling when I'm stuck is more of a, like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of this type of business, or these amazing souls that I've already worked with. Like, how did they even choose me? How did I even get to work with them to begin with? Like, oh, I'm never going to get any more of them. So I don't necessarily know if it shows up as imposter, or if it shows up as like a primal fear of rejection.
Yeah, got it. And these are all the things that we will all come across. You know, these belief systems, these things that we've learned, you know, as we've gone along, things that we've picked up from our parents, from the way that we've learned, from our educational system. These are endless and ongoing. And this awareness of them is what's critical, right?
Yes. So if these things never go away, I just learn more and more of my patterns and my triggers and how to overcome them and love myself through them. So it's not that I'm going through this whole process right now even, and I'm 5 years into this offline business of mine. So it doesn't end. And I think some people might think like, oh, once I reach this certain point, I won't ever feel like an imposter. I won't ever feel the fear of not getting clients anymore. But that's not it. It's like the journey we get to go on to the destination of helping our certain people that we know we're supposed to help is the amazing bit of it. And not thinking that something else is better than where we are is the work.
Fabulous. So we are going to draw this to a close. I'm just going to ask all of my experts who come here and are kind enough to give their time to talk to my brilliant audience what their biggest piece of advice would be to themselves when they started out, or for a medical healthcare professional who has done the training and is now ready to go out there and take a different path. What would your biggest piece of advice be to that person?
Thanks, Joe. So my biggest piece that came through when you were asking me that question is to give yourself grace, because this has been put upon your heart to go and help people with. And you are exactly where you need to be. You have done the things that you needed to do. You've ticked all the boxes, you filled out all the paperwork, and now you're here. So give yourself the grace of kind of reveling in the feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I have this autonomy where I get to start this amazing business. And I get to just keep moving forward from a place of accepting myself and accepting that it's going to unfold in divine timing, just like it should.
Love that. So how do people keep in touch with you, Rachel?
Oh, thanks, Joe. So they can follow me on Instagram at I am Rachel Harington. And Harington just has one R. So it's Rachel, Rachel, Harington. And you can also email me. So email hello@wellandcalmstudios.com.
Fabulous. We'll put all that in the show notes. I'm really, really grateful. I absolutely love working with you. And I really appreciate your advice today. Some sound words, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much.
See you soon. Thanks so much, Joe.
I hope this episode has sparked some new ideas or challenged your thinking. Transitioning from medicine to business is not easy. It's about adapting our skills while embracing the unknowns of entrepreneurship. It can be nerve-wracking, but remember, you are not alone on this journey. Please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram, or just shoot me an email at joe@bendylegs.com for support. And don't forget to grab the free PDF from the show notes, From Stethoscope to Startup, which is your go-to guide and resource for diving into entrepreneurship. Many thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thanks for spending your precious time with me.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.